Now watch our Cooper Hawks preen up here a little bit. They've been busy this morning. Female went into the nest, put in a twig and arranged things, and then went back in the grove and got another twig and put it in, and flew over on this limb here. And then the male flew in the nest with a twig, and he sailed over here and they mated, and then they've been sitting here preening, enjoying the sunshine. So we'll watch them for a little bit. We're all excited about it. Got a beautiful early morning sunshine again and blue sky, and I come down early now and every day because we're right to the day when she should start laying her eggs. So it could be today, tomorrow, or very close. They stick to a very strict schedule, and usually they're right on time. And we documented last year the other nest, and this is about the day she started laying her clutch. So we'll watch these two, and within a day or so she should be sitting upright in the nest. We'll see her just like she's standing up in there, but she's actually just sitting, and that's when she starts laying her eggs. And then she'll lay an egg a day for about 5 days till she gets her clutch of 5, and then she'll incubate for 35 days, and then they'll hatch. Another 35 days they fledge, and that they'll be able to fly out of the nest tree just from limb to limb, and their flight will get better and better after that. Okay, she's gonna go get a twig or something. Let's watch her. She might be after some of that bark. She gets that little flat pieces of bark and then puts it into the nest, and that's how they line the nest for when the eggs come in. And then when the youngsters, when they're young, they make a little mess. You can haul the soiled pieces of bark out and replace with fresh. So that's what she's doing. She's trying to get a piece of bark now. Let's see if she gets one. She'll fly over and put it in the nest. What a great day to be here. See if she can get a piece of that bark. She's working on it. Got it on her mind now. She might have this one pretty well picked clean. They've been working and perching here for a while, so several days. No, she's determined. We'll give her a little bit here. One to document this. See if she can get one here. That's what she's trying to get, one piece of bark to put in the nest. They line that nest with flat pieces of bark. But it is such a great place to document all this behavior, because they're urbanized and not afraid of people, and people are going by and they're used to all the traffic, and they've nested in this area for about 6 years or better. So I think she got all the loose pieces of bark off that limb. She'll have to find a new one, looks like. That's Minnie Cooper working and Gary Cooper watching her. And come back in a little bit. Ah, she's good. She wants that piece of bark. Now you can see the size difference, and the coloration is just about the same, just the size. So there they are, side by side, our Cooper Hawks. Not having much luck with the bark. That's all right. We're gonna let it run, and maybe she'll be able to peel one off there. We're wanting to get them this close together on the perch, and this is looking really good here. And off she goes to another tree for bark. She finally gave up on that. Let's see what Gary Cooper thinks with his real dark red eyes. He's a little bit older than she is. So they got the chores going today. Tidying up the nest and Trying to make some more Easter eggs, they call it. And she should be laying eggs any day now. Alright, I think we'll call that pretty much good. Quick. And in we come. And in we go. Alright, we lucked out. I'll stay focused. Get to see the bars on the tail and everything. I'm zoomed in at 104 with my Canon SX60 power shot. Coming in good. I like when the sun's like this. We'll see how we doing here. Alright, checking it out. Get a pretty good view from here. They worked on it yesterday. They were busy in and out for, about an hour and a half, I think. Yeah, they really were working on it. Okay, checking everything out. Sailing out, going for the next one. And out we go. And Cooper Hawk's got a twig. He's coming into the nest now. And there we are. Came down early. It's a little after 7. The sun hits the nest just right. Have to watch all the activities with the twigs and watch them work them in there. They'll work on the nest for probably an hour and a half. He's back over trying to get another twig now. I'll watch him for a little bit and see how quick he can get back. And he's got his twig, and in he comes. Back with a second one. We'll weave him in there. And I'll watch him every day, because when they start putting in the flat pieces of bark about the size of a $50, that's what they line the bottom of the nest with. Then we know they're ready for the eggs. Then they'll start laying their clutch an egg a day till they get 5 or 6 eggs. Then they'll start incubating for 35 days. He's all excited about it, just working away there and weaving them in there. We get to hear our robin sing to us a little bit. And off he goes. Okay, he just called. He flew in the nest with a twig. We'll see what happens here. She's sitting on her perch. She's calling to him now. There's a fly bugging her. She's glad he's back. Here he comes in, and they're making Easter eggs right now. All right. They'll be laying their clutch any day now. Now he goes back to the nest. That's the ritual. Put a twig in, and next thing you know, they're all set. Well, we'll watch. She's still making the call, so that's good. We were here at the right time again, so there's her call. She's glad he's back. Well, they definitely made an Easter egg there on Easter, so that's her call. We call that the cat call. Sounds like a catbird kind of, and it's a perfect spot. They're all excited about it. A few more days she'll start putting the eggs in there, and she'll lay an egg a day for about 5 or 6 days. And then they'll start incubating for 35 days. And then they'll hatch. And all the leaves will be around the nest. We won't see much, but another 35 days, then we'll see the youngsters above the nest on the limbs. That'll be about the 4th of July, so After they hatch, about 5 weeks it takes, they can hop up above the nest and they'll be able to fly a little bit on the limbs there. So, well, that's what went on here today. Great call. The deep blue sky. My goodness. We've been having rainy and overcast days for several days now. And this is the first really good clear day we've had. And off she goes to join him then. Help him out with the twigs. Alright, call that good. Coming into the nest. Just landed. They just mated. Now they're working on the nest a little bit. And we'll watch and see what happens here. They've got plenty of sticks in there. And I'm watching to see if they're putting in little flat pieces of bark. Because when they do that, then you know they're getting ready for the eggs. The Cooper hawks like to line the bottom of the nest with flat pieces of bark so they can roll the eggs, and just a little more convenient for them. So when they do that, we know we're very close to egg time. And they usually stay on schedule anyway. They usually start incubating by the 21st of April. They can be a week off if it's too cold, and just pretty much very close. So we'll see what this one's up to. Getting everything just right. It's been a great morning posing out there and preening, and we got them consummating the relationship, and now they're working in the nest. We can watch and see if they put the little flat pieces of bark in. If they fly in within their beak, we'll be able to see. We'll come in a little bit more here and see what's going on. When she's ready to lay eggs, she'll be sitting upright in the nest, so I'll gotta take off now. There we go. See what's gonna go on here. Get a good shot. And off we go. Alright, there she goes. That's her call. She's right above me. Yeah, just landed in the nest. Just flew in. What do we got here? Oh yeah. Working them twigs in. We're getting close to egg time. I hear one of them calling. This one's working the sticks. All right. We'll see how they do. It was cold this morning. They didn't get started at 8:10. They waited for over an hour and a half before they started. It's up to 44 degrees now. Busy, busy. Gotta get that twig in there just right. We'll watch for a bit. Gotta get it just right. Oh, we got good sunlight now. And off we go. Well, there's our female Cooper hawk. She's got the food that he brought her earlier, and she's having a little snack. And here he comes for the mating. All right. You can see the size difference now, so that's what he was. He flew in there and put a stick in the nest and a couple of twigs, and then she moved over here and started eating, and they came in, consummated the relationship. Watch her eat a little bit. We got good lighting. There you go. That was breakfast, see? And there you are. A little snack. Good lighting now again. We're going to hang in here. Looks like a fairly good sized bird they got. Keep her well fed. She looks good too. They're both healthy birds. Feet are really yellow. It's a good pair of Cooper Hawks. Minnie Cooper here and Gary Cooper working on the nest again. He's a good provider. He brings in all the food when they get started. She's incubating, so he brings her food, calls her off with the bick bick call, and then she sails out. And he gives it to her here, and then he would go in on the nest and incubate until she's done. And then he's got to bring all the food for the youngsters and her, and then himself too. So he is an excellent hunter, good provider. Now here's our male Cooper Hawk. He just put a twig in the nest, then just flew over and mated with a female. She's back there calling. But he's on the perfect limb, so we'll watch him for a bit. It's a little chilly this morning. They didn't get started at a little after 8. They waited for over an hour or better. And when the sun came out, they started working on the nest a little bit. You can hear her calling back there. Okay, the Tercel just came in, checking up on her. Let's see what's going on here. How's it going? Oh, I'm doing fine. I knew I heard his call, so. And out he goes. She says, I'm doing good. I'm keeping them all warm and cozy here. Well, I'll go get some breakfast then. Alright. Great interaction there. We enjoyed that. Me just checking on her, see if she's okay. Yep. So you run that eagle out there, you did good. He's gonna go get breakfast and she's gonna maintain the eggs. She's sitting up here in her position, so she should lay that last egg today, and then they can get started on the incubation. She's arranging the nest a little bit. We were down here yesterday and got a lot of good shots too, so. That's what's going on. 40 degrees and about 7:30. And she's sitting there watching. Here he comes back in. Okay, he snuck in there with a twig, see? Here you go. Alright, we'll put it over there. You see how dark his eye is? All red, really dark, see? He's got the grayer cheeks too. Well, they're just having a great time. All excited about it. Well, we're getting a good interaction. And off I go. Want to make sure everything's good. Brought a little stick there. She's taking care of the eggs. He's calling her off. He brought in breakfast. He just did the big call. That was her leaving. Now we'll see how long it takes for him to sail in there. He should get right in there. We're giving her the food. That's his job. Bring the breakfast. That's just called bick, bick. Always let it run until he say, here he comes in, so you can get right back in there. There we go. That's him. That's his big call. He gave her breakfast. Now we'll watch him get down on the eggs. This is their first day of incubation. The eggs are at 98.6. He's got the real dark red eyes, so down he goes. All right. Settle down in there. He does his job. down he goes. That shift change at the Cooper Hawk nest. This is the Tiercel, the male, 1/3 smaller than the female. He flew in here, bick, bick, I got food, out she goes. So she's eating now. And he's in there keeping the eggs at 98.6. And she'll have her meal and then she'll fly in and relieve him. A lot of activity coming in now. Back there we are. She's done eating. She's back in there now. We'll see how it goes. We got great sunlight this morning. Good time to be down at the Cooper Hawk nest documenting. All right. He just slipped out the other side. She gave him a call, and then here she sails back in. She's done eating, so back on the eggs. And I want to keep them all warm and cozy. This is their first day of incubation. See how it goes, get turned around here. And there we are, back down on the eggs. She's had her breakfast. He was taking care of the eggs while she was eating and slipped off, and now she's back in there. And down we go. Doing the disappearing act, all down on the eggs, keeping them cozy. All right, we'll check back. We'll go see if we can locate where he is now. Well, here's the male. He just left the nest and flew over here now. She's back in on the eggs. He came in and gave her a break. She was gone for about 12 minutes. He was on the eggs. And she came back and then got on the eggs, and he flew over here. And he's taking the opportunity now to get a little sunshine. Take it easy. I'm getting a slight breeze, but at least don't have any rain. Looks like it's going to be a pretty good day. But this is the last day of their incubation cycle. This is day 35. So after today, they could hatch any time. So we documented the shift change when he flew in, and she got up and flew out. Was gone, like I say, for about 12 minutes. And she came back in and then got on the eggs. He flew over here, and now he's preening up his feathers. He's enjoying the sunshine. We get a pretty good view of him. We're all excited. Tomorrow them eggs should be hatching. It should be a very busy day. The sun hits his eyes, you can see they're really dark red. So. Hers are more orange because she's a little younger than he is. So. Her eyes will be as red as his when she gets the same age as him. So. Okay, and you're checking up on her. There's our Tiercel. And this is day 1 for the hatchlings. They're a day old now. They hatched yesterday. Here's Papa. He just landed, brought in a stick. He was here earlier calling, and she wouldn't get off the nest. He saw if she wanted to break. So she stayed in there with the hatchlings. And now he's showing up, checking up on her, and brought in a twig, see? And we're all excited about it. Our hatchlings are 1 day old now. They hatched out yesterday. This is our Tiercel coming in, checking up on her and the youngsters. He's all excited about it too. So we'll see. I don't think she'll get off. We'll see if they have a shift change or not. She may let him have the takeover. We'll see. Letting him get a look at the little guys now, it looks like. Oh yeah, he's proud Papa in there now. He came earlier. I was down here. He called and called, but she wouldn't get off the nest. He was landed right above me and was carrying on. Now he's back with a twig. And we'll see if she lets him go. Okay, and out he goes. Coming over here by me now. She's getting back on the youngsters. Well, that's what it looks like. Day one for the hatchlings. 1 day old now. Hatched out yesterday. Okay, he just gave the call. He's back with the food, and here she is getting up. And see where and off she goes. All right. Let's see what happens here. It's brunch time at the Cooper Hawk nest. She was waiting for him. It won't be long. Now either he'll go in and take over on the little ones, or she'll take the food back in there and start feeding them. We'll see what happens here. We got a good feeding yesterday, and today they're 3 days old, our hatchlings. So we've been documenting every day. She's been keeping them warm and dry all morning now, and now we'll see what happens. Temperature warmed up to about 60 something. It stopped raining. So now we can get into our feeding session and see how lunch goes at the Cooper Hawk nest. He gave her that big call and she stood up and flew right out. So they're back in. That's him with the dark eyes, really dark eyes. So she's going to eat over there. He's checking up on little ones. He gave her the food. He's a hunter. They've had 5 youngsters for the past few years, and he's always supplied enough food for everybody, himself, 5 youngsters, and her. So he's taking over on the nest, keeping them warm, while she's having a little lunch and getting it ready. So I'm just going to let it run and see how long the shift change takes. Because usually she'll prepare the food and then sail back in here and feed the youngsters. So she's having a little break now and getting the food ready. He gave it to her. So it's lunchtime at the Cooper Hawk nest. Gary Cooper, the Tercel, he's on the eggs now, or on the hatchlings now. And like I said, they're 3 days old, so he'll keep them warm and dry till she returns. I'll let it run. And it might take a while. Just depending. Sometimes she's pretty quick about it. There he goes, getting all settled down in there. And a shift change at the Cooper Hawk nest. And Mama's preparing the food. And the male is keeping the hatchlings dry and warm. And back she comes. All right, I got it. You see, she's a lot bigger than him, 1/3 bigger. So back we go, and we'll see if she's got the food ready to feed the little ones. Oh, it looks like it. She's maneuvering around there. She may have something in her talons. Let's see if this is a feeding or just... Oh yeah, kind of looks like it. She's getting ready. Oh yeah, tearing up a little piece there. That's what it was. He brought in lunch, called her off, gave it to her, and she prepared it. And now here she is, reaching over, feeding the little ones. Okay, she's getting ready to take off, I think. She's been there. Okay, and there she is, up and out she goes, going on a break. The little ones are 8 days old today. So they should be really good this weekend. We come down and perhaps we'll be able to see little bit of their heads poking up, because they'll be a week and a half old. When they're 2 weeks, we'll definitely see them. But she must have quite a brood in there, because the other day she fed for 12 minutes, so it wouldn't take that long to feed 1 or 2. So she probably got 5 like they usually do every year. Okay. Waiting for the Cooper Hawk to come back. She just flew out. Should be sailing back in here any minute now. And she just took her break. The little Cooper Hawks are 11 days old today, a week and a half. So we're all excited about it. We got a good video yesterday of her feeding them. We got a couple glimpses of the little guys, and maybe we'll see more of them today. So when they get to be 2 weeks old and she's out of the nest like this, we'll see them pretty good. They'll be moving back and forth, more active. But for now, we're all set up for the feeding. And back in we go. There she is, got something in her talons. Look down there, yeah, got it right in her foot, see? All right, breakfast time again at the Cooper Hawk nest. Tercel brought in the breakfast, and here we are. We'll see what happens. Watch her give them the feed here. I'll come in a little bit. There we go. Watch them stretch their heads up there on the left-hand side. Oh yeah, they're all excited about it too. Up comes the head. All right, they're still feeding now. There's the one on the left, still in the sweet spot, getting the first pieces she hands over. There you go. They're all getting fed. She reaches down the other way too, and she gets a little bit for herself. Perfect day down here again. Got filtered light. The male brought in breakfast, gave her the heads up call, and she slipped out the back, went over and got it within a minute or so, was back. Now she's feeding him right now. There she's got that beautiful orange eye. Her eye will get as dark as the male's. His got ruby red, real dark red. But the older they get, the darker their eye gets towards red. So she's a little younger than him. All right, look at that guy moving. That was a good shot. Can't wait to get. Oh, look at that guy under between her legs there. See that? Getting that food. I can't wait to get this on the big screen and see what we got. This is really good. All right. She's looking about here. Gets little tidbits that they miss. Let's see what she's going to do here. Back up just a little bit. There you can see his head. Look at this guy. Yeah. Oh, there's a good view of him. Look at that. My goodness. That is absolutely great. That's the best view we've gotten so far. Coming right up there. All right, Mama. Keep them all lined up. Here she's looking. How about that? There we go, back here. He came right up to the top. He said, I'm going to hang out here for a while. All right, I'm going to take off, and off she goes. Oh, let's watch him play. He just gave her cat call. Sounds like a catbird. All right, he's going to fire over the edge of the nest, I think. This is how to keep the nest clean. Bam! Oh, look, they got pin feathers and everything on the wings and tail now. 16 days old. Look at this guy. This is the best we've gotten so far. My goodness. Yes, indeed. You gotta get up early. The early snooper finds the Cooper. That's my motto. Yep, sitting right on top, peeking around. Yes, indeed. You have to name one of the babies Rembrandt because they keep painting everything around here with whitewash. Oh, this is going to be good. Like I say, in another week, they'll have more feathers. They'll be all over. Just like this, back and forth. We'll have the whole nest moving. Look how big they're getting. They're all excited. Got fed, and now they're going to show off a little bit. They want all our followers to see them. We've been waiting a long time. And again, 16 days old today. Took 35 days of incubation to hatch, so. And by the 4th of July, they'll be on the limbs just right above the nest, just starting to learn how to fly a little bit from limb to limb. And that's how it works. Oh, one clear. Okay, Mama's back now. She slipped in the side there. That was her tail feather coming in. She just slipped in the back, and that's her head. That's good. She came on the back side. Now we can continue watching the little guys up on this side. Back up just a little bit. There we go. She has that entrance. She goes between the two trunks of the tree on the left. Alright. Crows are harassing the male. He just took off. I can hear the crows raising a fuss. Alright, Mama's back in. You guys had... Oh, look at the wing up there. Yeah, we gotta let this run. We're getting a good view. She's trying to get him to come down under her breast now. And here, so well, we're getting to be big. We want to play a little bit, have a little recess here. All right, Mama will keep you warm. I'll be in here with you. Boy, I got a whole nest of Cooper Hawks now, don't we? This is the exciting part. They're at the cute stage and they're moving around a bit. This is what an active Cooper Hawk nest looks like. This is the best we got this year, so we'll share this with our 1,500 subscribers and anybody else that wants to watch. All right, Mama's settling them down now. Come over here and get next to Mama and get warmed up. All right, I'll call that good. Yeah, little guys are starting to wake up. They want some breakfast. They slept. The birds are singing. They heard the Mama give a communication call, trying to get a hold of... Oh, he's going to pose. Look at this guy. Now look at the feathers coming in there now. Looking really good. Like I say, look every day, you can just see a slight difference in the feathers. More and more keep coming in. They get a little longer. It's just amazing how fast they feather out. They'll be ready to be branches by the 4th of July. There he's exercising. From hatch to flight, it's 5 weeks. They'll be able to fly over the closest limbs by the nest and then back, and she'll keep feeding them in there. And they'll hang out here and learn how to fly and then hunt. They get quite an education here. And they're good parents. They teach them everything. And they'll be ready for migration by September, and then they'll just kind of fade away from here. But that's the time to come down in the morning, as early as we can, because they feed them early, and they're going to keep feeding by every few hours. But they're thinking about breakfast. They've been listening to all the sounds, so they know it's just about time for breakfast. I'm going to do a little wing exercise here. I'll back off a little bit. Get a better view of the nest. Sometimes you can see them on the left-hand side peeking out, and then they go on the right-hand side by the other trunk. So they've got quite a place here. There you go, coming up. Getting quite active now. There, look at that. There, got 2 of them in there. Showing off pretty good. Yeah, so you get little feathers on the breast now too, see? Starting to get a little color there. And we counted 4 the other day, so there's room for 2 of them to pose here. There's one in the back flapping. There's number 3. See if he'll come up and pose. Yep. They want some breakfast. It's time for a snack. Well, here's our Cooper Hawk enjoying the sunshine. Our little Cooper Hawks are 23 days old. Our Cooper Hawk's taking a break out on the sunning limb. Beautiful weather today. I came down early this morning and got several videos of the youngsters in the nest exercising. We started this project in March when they were rebuilding the nest and getting it ready for this year, so we're excited now. We got the youngsters are sneaking up on 4 weeks old now. 3 days, they'll be 4 weeks old. And they'll fly by the 4th of July just up on the limb next to the nest. Oh, there's some crowding in there. Look at that. Okay, do your exercise. Have a little fun there. You got recess now. Got one on the left. I see his tail feathers on that trunk. We got two on this side. And of course, number 4 is in there somewhere. We'll see what activities they decide to play a little game here. There's one peeking through. Hey, look at that. 1, 2, and 3 there. But they feed them good. And I mean, there's the other ones on the other side. Papa's hunting all day long because now he's got to feed himself and 4 of these guys. And some food for Mama too because she's on guard, so. Oh yeah, look at that peeking out there. Had 3 of them peeking out. That's good. We wanted to get 3 there. That was okay. We got a head peeking through there a little bit. Let them have at it. And they'll sleep most of the afternoon. You can see their crops are really bulging. The one next to the trunk on the right. Look how bulged his crop is. He's filled up. His feathers are getting all over the breast now. The small feathers coming in perfectly. Well, they're wonderful birds. Enjoy watching them. Every 3 days makes a big difference in the feathering. You can't believe it's just how quick they can feather out. I got 3 there now. Look at that. Well, they're having a great time today. She was feeding them for a while. The one in the back there is getting what's left. Down the hatch we go. And I'll watch her a little bit here. Sun's coming in perfect. She was having a little bit of a snooze. She got done feeding the youngsters and then came over here and enjoying the morning sunshine. It's cool. Closed her eyes a couple times, catching up on about 40 winks here. The youngsters, they've been fed good. They exercised. She came over to her favorite perch. It's her routine every morning after she feeds them to get in the sun and weather a little bit. And then catch up on a little cat nap. The youngsters are 27 days old today. Tomorrow they hit the 4-week mark. Crows are hollering. She's looking, wondering what that ruckus is about. But crows kind of do that when the male is coming in with food too, so she's alert to every sound. We'll watch her for a bit. Our lighting is absolutely perfect this morning. 63, 64 degrees. And just beautiful blue sky for the background. This is her favorite perch. For the past 5 days, every morning after she feeds them, she comes to this limb here and preens her feathers and takes a break. And she can see right directly in the nest. She's at the same level as the nest. Oh yeah, fan that tail out. That looks good. We like that. She can watch the youngsters in the nest just straight in, so. And she's only like 50 feet from the nest. There she is, preening up her feathers. And we'll watch her for a bit. We're trying to listen to our birds. We had a Swainson's thrush the other day. A friend of mine had an app on his phone. We heard the bird and he hit it and it told us it was a Swainson's thrush. That's pretty interesting. Well, this is our female Cooper's hawk. Anyway, we'll watch him. and get us a good exercise session. Our lighting is perfect now. But that's the activities at 30 days old. And we're all excited to get 3 females and 1 male, looks like. And there we are. We've yet to get all 4 together. We get 3, so there's still a margin for error there. But we know we got at least 2 females and 1 male. Until we get all 4 together, I'm assuming that the other one is a female also. But we'll see how it works out. Alright, time to get those feathers squared away. Enjoy the cool morning. Oh yeah, some activity there on the limb on the left hand side now. I'll back off just a little bit more. We can see what they're up to here, in case they get really energetic. Like I say, they've been checking out a few limbs. There's Tiercel, the male, over there on the right, female in the middle. They're all picking out their spots. We got another female on the left behind the limb, so we'll wait now and see what happens when they really get into their recess and exercise. Oh, the wings are going now. Checking it out. Exercising those wing muscles. Okay, over we go. There'll be a lot of activity now. They're getting to the brancher stage. They can really exercise. Okay, this one's coming up center stage. Showing off those breast feathers coming in. Oh yeah, here's one behind. We're really working it now. Somebody says, well, I think it's time for recess. There's the next one on the right hand side. They're actually just playing and having a good time. It's like kids at recess. There you can see the size difference. See the size of his head, a little bit smaller than his sister there. He's picked out that limb on the right hand side, and she's got center stage. And here comes another booking up there. Look at that. But you got 3 heads in there that time. Want to see what's going on here. Well, that's what we figured. We got 1 male and 3 females. There we go. They're just enjoying it. Okay, Mama just came in to feed him. Flew in this way now. We'll see what's going on. It's about a little after 11, right on the money. We fed him this morning about 6:30. And here's one of the adults just sailed in. Well, let's see how it goes here. Got a lot of mouths to feed. There's 4 big ones. This could be a pretty good feeding. And they're 4.5 weeks old now. And they had a good breakfast. And now this is brunch. And they've been flying out. They're officially branchers, out on the limbs a little bit and then back in about 20 feet. Some have been going up on the limbs above and some below. But now we're right on schedule for brunch. And when it's just a small bird, they come in and just kind of drop it off to one of the youngsters, and then the rest have to wait. But this time, they're all lined up, and they're all going to get fed. And we'll let it run. They've been feeding them from the other side. We don't see much of the adult. But today we're lucky. Came sailing in on this side, and we'll be able to see the whole thing here. Yep, checking things out. They're getting good size now. Like I say, they're 4.5 weeks old. In just a Another few days will start dropping it off, but she still got them with her table manners, still divvying it out. Gives us a good chance to watch the feeding. They just finished lunch now, so we'll watch them have a little exercise session here. They're 4.5 weeks old today and just got fed, so they're ready for exercise. We'll see how they do. We got one on the limb to the right, and one up above, and two in the nest. As soon as they got full, two of them took off, and the other two stayed in the nest to finish up. And this one's going up. See, they're branchers. This one's trying to go up higher and off to the right. Another one taking off the other direction. We'll just see how it goes here. Figured it out. We got 3 females and 1 male. You can tell because he's just a little bit smaller. All right, well, they're going to exercise now. Let's see. Back and forth we go. All right. Try to pick up the best we can. Right there should be good. We can see when they're off to the side and when they go up and back, turn around, they're going to have a good exercise. Recess at the Cooper Hawk nest after brunch. There we go. Peeking out, got the whole nest to self now. We'll see how soon he's sailing. Got one back on the limb. Off to the right. There we are. See the one on the right now. That's how close is straight out to the right on the branch. I'll try to come in on that one. Oh, he's going to fly, I think. Let's watch and see here. And up he goes up on top, see? They're just having a great time. And up this one goes. Well, that's what you call them branchers, because they're all over the tree now, just above the nest and on every limb they can reach. Up and down, just more or less a recess playing session now. Back in on this one. And they're getting feathered out good. But they're all excited. They had a good brunch. Now they're going to play a little bit. Watch these guys preen up. They're looking good. And we still have 2 in the tree. We had 3 here just a minute ago. This one would cough up a casting. That's the feathers that doesn't digest. It's not common for the birds of prey, and there it goes. Flipped it out. That's the feathers and bones that don't digest. But anyway, we had 3 of them in here, and one has moved into the nest tree. And these 2 are still waiting, and number 4 is hiding in there somewhere. We had one of them on this side of the street in a tree behind me. I didn't even know it. Gave a couple of wee calls and flew straight across her. So it flew over 200 feet or better and flying really good. So watch these 2 preen up and see what happens here. So they'll be ready for the food. They're getting all ready for breakfast, so we'll call that good. See how they do. All right, you're there. Getting ready for the breakfast shot. Oh yeah, they're going to preen their feathers. This is the two, got the legs stretched out, and this is the favorite tree, so. And again, they're only 50 feet from the nest. It's off to their left-hand side, our right. And they can see right in there, and the food's delivered. They can just fly right over there, 50 feet, and they're in there. But we're listening for their calls. And came down this morning, 4, 6, and I had 3 of them up in there. And we still have 2 remaining, and okay, we're getting ready to go, and I think food's getting delivered. One took off. And this one's going to sit a little bit. We'll see how they do. All right, we'll call that good then. It's our Cooper Hawk getting that bird ready. Dissecting it, plucking all the feathers, so be all ready for time to feed the little. Looks like she's going to have a good feast by herself here. Might be her turn to eat. But the male came sailing through, and they had a little communication, and had the handoff here on the limb, and now she's eating her breakfast. But they keep the young ones all fed up, and they're full size, the youngsters, so they only need to eat once a day too, so won't get in on that many feedings. So this prey item's for her. Nate brought her breakfast. She's chowing down now. We're getting a great video. I saw a couple of youngsters at 6:30 flying the dead tree and then flew back in the grove, and they've been actually pretty quiet now. They've got all day to feed them, right up to 8:30 at night even, so they can give them all plenty of food. They're not going hungry. We're getting a good view of her eating. I like this. We'll just let it run. I was sitting down here and I heard her give her call. It's a big cottonwood tree at the other end of the grove, opposite end of the nest. In past years, that's where she hangs out, and the youngsters too, so. The male came in, gave her the heads up, I got food. They flew over here on the limb, and here we are, getting a good video of the female Cooper Hawk having breakfast. We'll see if she shares any of it with the youngsters, but they're not chasing her around. She's got it in her foot. She's going to take off now, go find them and give them a little bit. Got herself a share here. I'll see what happens. She'll probably fly to the nest. There she goes to the nest now. They'll all pile in there. I'll move down there. And when she gets the food, she'll sail in with. There we go. She's in with food. There she is. Okay, look at them pile in now. Breakfast time, here they come. They know that, don't they? That's what that racket was about. Let's see what we got going here. In they come. Look at breakfast time again at the Cooper Hawk nest. 34 days old, and they're flying good. They're fledglings now. We'll see how it goes here. She was making her noise earlier, and her cat call, and they were doing their wee wee noise. That's the first noise they make, so. Anyway, they're going to have some breakfast here, and we'll watch it. 34 days old. That is amazing. And they're flying pretty good. Yes, they are. And they're having the highlight of their day. But I'm glad I could hear them make their first call, which is wee wee. I recognize it, so that's so she can communicate with them. And they're in the leaves. But she got it all ready. That's why the crows were making the fuss. They knew they had food and they were getting it ready. Here we go. They come piling back into the nest for breakfast. Here comes another one in. Just landed on the limb. tell you, they are staying busy. It takes a lot of food now. They'll be coming in on there. Alright, we'll call that good then. Okay, listening now to the crows. This is one of the 4 fledglings. Just kind of hanging out in the favorite sunning tree. Adults use this tree all the time, and this is the first time I've seen the juvenile in it. The fledgling. We got 3 girls and 1 boy this year, so the males are a little smaller. This is the first one to find a good sunning perch, and the sun is coming in perfectly. It's right on my back, got blue sky in the background, no leaves on the tree, nothing in the way. This has got its little fuzz left on the forehead to get rid of and to be in full juvenile plumage. Tail feathers are still growing to proper length, so. But they're flying good. They're flying 75 feet or better, the closest trees and back. But they're still sleeping at night in the nest and eating in the nest, so when they get a little bit bigger, then they'll be able to sleep on a perch. But for now, they get filled up, they'll try to lay down on a limb and sleep, then they'll go back to the nest and lay down and have a nap. But they will get to where they sit up in the tree. But for now, they're honing their flight skills and learning how to be Cooper Hawks, and the adults are bringing them the food. All 4 are together now. There's the male between the 2 sisters on the left. He's got his back to us, and they are facing us from the front. I'm waiting all day to get a shot of all 4 of them on the same limb, the fledglings. So we got the 3 sisters with their breasts facing us, and our little male, the tiercel, is in between the ones on the left with his back to us. They were over in a dead tree earlier, and they had a little snack, and they all came over here. So the last one to show up was our little male. He came out of the nest, cleaned his beak, and now he's up here joining his sisters in the tree, waiting for the next round of food. We're waiting for him to go back in the dead tree, and we'll try to get a video of them up there. But they're getting a little more vocal, flying around with their wee-wee call. We just got lucky. All 4 in a row here. Let's see how they do. They finally got up there in position. We'll keep an eye on them. And wait till she sails in the next round of food. Alright, well I think we'll call that good. There's a nice chunk. Look at that. Alright, down the hatch. Nice bite there, alright. Like the heart and the liver, that looked like, so. Eating healthy. I'm into eating chicken livers myself, I like those, so I know he's enjoying it. Or her, whichever the case is. Looking around now, I think somebody's going to try to sneak in and try to take it. Really watching them. That's their technique, of sailing in and try to snatch it. Okay, you're going to turn around a little bit now. See how they do from this angle. See all the bars on the tail now. And a great feeding. I wanted to document a good feeding with the right lighting. It looks like we got our wish today, so. Every day is different. You got to come every day. You never know what's going to happen down here. To get this close and be able to document and make videos of this is just great. It's a golden opportunity. In they come. Trying to get it. All right, there he is. He wants that food. He's going to snatch it, I think. Let's watch. Let me have some of that. Not going to share yet. No. Let's see how it goes. Nope. Got the tail fanned out, got the back turned. Let's see. Still got a chance. All right, I'm taking it. I want that food fight. Nice. He's still got possession of his foot. I don't know if the other one got in here or not, but that's how it goes. All right, got this one all perched here. They might be the one that had the breakfast earlier, so we're gonna make a little video of it. It's in the proper spot, so it's looking good. They all had a little snack this morning. They had several feedings, and they were quite vocal and flying around. Then it got quiet, so we'll see what this one's up to. There we are. He's looking around for his sibling. It's in the perfect spot. Crystal clear. See if he'll make a call for us. See how long he'll sit. Yeah, no leaves in the way. Got a little breeze. And off he goes, coming over here now. Okay, our Cooper Hawk flew back across the street over here, and this is probably the first kill for this juvenile Cooper Hawk. We watched him in the trees across the road, and he went from tree to tree, and then decided to sail down to the farthest tree, was in there just for a little bit, and then flew across the street here with the bird and landed up in the tree where they always eat their food. So we'll get another feeding today. We're all excited about it. Cooper Hawk made the first kill. Wasn't handed off by any adults. Definitely caught a bird by himself. Doing all the plucking now and getting it ready. A great time to be here. Cooper Hawk's first kill. We'll see how they do here. Getting right into it. We were down here this morning. They had one little prey item. They got one of them. But this one is well on the way now. We're all watching and flew across from the grove to the street. A row of trees there went from tree to tree. And then flew all the way down to the end. Landed in that tree and then flew across over here with a bird. Went to the plucking tree and started getting the feathers off and getting it ready. That's what we got here. We'll watch a little bit. Back off a little bit more. There we go. We'll watch it right there. Down the hatch. Going to have a good feed. Been coming down every day watching them. They've been using this tree here to pluck their food and eat. And after one of them gets his fill, the other one shows up and it'll share a little bit. But this is our feeding for the day. It's just about 9 o'clock now. We'll see how they do. But they've been using this limb. The last 4 days we're feeding, so and it's good for us because it's up close. We'll get a good view. Posing pretty good. I like that view there, looking over the back. But this is my favorite tree. This is where you get the best shot. So. Another one coming in was across the street. See if he comes over and joins. He went up to another tree. But this one's in the perfect spot. We'll stick with this one. There he's calling now. I'm hungry. Where are you? They definitely are. Looking around. Okay, here comes his sibling to join him on the limb now. Got both of them there now, so that's good. The buddy system, yeah, that'll work good. There we are. They're posing perfectly for us today, and And the one on our right side is a little bit smaller. Now you can see about 1/3 smaller than the one on the left, so that's the male on the right. He's just a tiny bit smaller than his big sister there on her left. And off he goes. She says, no, I'm going to stay here a while. You guys can have your food fight. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Looking down now. Lots of activity. It's a good morning. Okay, now let's see. And off this one goes. Well, here's one of our lucky fledglings. Caught another bird. It's about 10:30. Back in a favorite limb here. Plucking the feathers off. Gonna have a good snack. So I'm glad to see they're still using the same tree. He's doing a job of taking the feathers off. And maybe one of the females. We'll see what happens here. But I heard the call, saw him fly, and I went and checked up. Sure enough, he came back in the tree here where he likes to eat their food, and he's dissecting it right now. Having a little bit of a snack. So we'll watch. They've been getting really efficient now. They're great flyers, and they fly over the trees through the leaves, and then they surprise the bird and they catch it. Now, earlier today, the adult female brought in a bird and gave him a feeding, and they all chased each other. One of them got it, then things quieted down. And now, like I said, it's about 10:30, and this one bagged the bird and is now having a little lunch here, or brunch. Back here at the right time. We'll see what it is. It's a good sized bird. They're getting quite efficient. They're doing good on their hunting. Able to catch their own food now, so we'll see how they do. Munching away, having a good breakfast or brunch. This is the best view I get, but at least we get to see the head. Made a video earlier, that was from the other end, so this is the best we got, but having quite the feast. I'm surprised, you know, they can get around that good. 52 days old today. And they're catching their own prey, so. Well, if he turns around, I'll go to the other spot. We'll watch him from here for now. He's chowing down pretty good. His sibling is sitting there waiting for the leftovers when it's his turn, because they do share once they get filled up. Early snooper finds the Cooper. So you got to get up. You want to find these guys. That's how that works. There you go, look at that. Fan that tail out. Oh yeah. I listened to that sound this morning. I didn't hear it. I got here fairly early again, and then it just now started, so. We're supposed to have another day, so okay, off one goes. That was Big Sister. I think this is the other one sitting here. We'll see how it goes. Gonna do a fine preening. There's the bars on the tail. Sun hitting it just right. Cleaning up the talons a little bit. And back it comes. All right, or her, I mean. Look at that. I say her because she's bigger than the other one. There we are. Females are about 1/3 bigger. You can see the size difference here. Well, That's good. Flew away and came back. Want to be with her sibling here. We started out with 4 and we've been counting 3. We haven't had a 4 count in a couple of days, but they hunt in pairs and they're so busy back and forth. There's so many leaves it's hard to pin them down unless you get them all on one limb. But this will be good today. We'll check this out. Cooper Hawk's going to preen up now. I just came by to post a picture of it paired together. I hadn't posted before. I talked to one of the gals, she said she heard them cackling the other day, so I got out, stretched my legs, they started cackling. And then this one flew up here in the tree and has been calling back and forth to the male. And he's been answering, so they're both here. Just kind of came back. Yeah, see, calling again like they do. Just like they do in the spring. So they're just talking to each other, saying, we're both back at the nest site. And I just happened to get here at the right time. I talked to a guy that walks his dog every day here, twice a day, says he hasn't heard him in weeks. And I just happened to get here at the right time. And that's because I wanted to post that picture, which I did. And then I sat for a while and I heard the call. I said, I can't believe this. And I got out, and just like you're hearing now. But they've been communicating for about 15 minutes. They're back at the exact nest site. They're just renewing their bonds, and they both happen to be here in the grove at the same time, and they're talking. And it's just like they do in the springtime when they communicate.